All right, y'all, there we go. It is 12. Glad to see you back with me here, Joan. All right. Okay. It is about 12. I'm going to go ahead and, first of all, paste something into the chat. There we go. All right, time to get this thing started. It is noon. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Coach Luis here, health fitness specialist with Exos at Autodesk. So you guys are joining me here today. That means it is time for Workout Wednesday, the key word being work. All right, you guys, so two-part workout coming at us here today. 3 rounds for each part. And we're going to actually switch up the amount of work that we're doing between these two parts. So part 1, we're going to work for 45 seconds and then rest for 15 on our kind of EMOM style as we work through. And then part 2, we're going to up it to 50 seconds of work and 10 seconds of rest. Now remember, 3 rounds each. I'm now going to go through the movements themselves. As far as equipment goes for today here, you guys, we are going to be doing 1 squat variation that if you want it to load it up, I got a dumbbell here to load mine up. Basically going to be holding it in that goblet position kind of out here in front. So if that's something you want to load up today, it doesn't have to be a dumbbell. You can go get the laundry detergent, a backpack, a bag, what have you. But that is the extent of the equipment we're going to be needing here today, guys, beyond just the mat and also some water so we can stay hydrated. All right, so here we go. Gonna go into the movements themselves here today. And I'm bringing back one from last week that I really liked, and that is the power push-up. So nothing crazy different, guys, here mechanically as we get into our push-up. Now remember, this could be done toes or knees here supporting ourselves. What we're gonna do is come down regular speed and then push up as hard and as quickly as we can. Now, when we do that, got to make sure the core is on so that the upper body and the lower body and the hips all come up at the same time. So again, just our push-ups, adding a little bit more power, pushing the ground away from us. Next up, we're going to be on our backs, bridge with an alternating leg extension. So if you were at my abs and core workout yesterday, guess what? You're getting a double dose of this one. Love this one a lot. So we're going to come up, drive through the heels with our bridge. We're then going to kick one leg out and then bring it back in. And this is going to force the core and that single leg that is supporting us to work really hard to keep those hips nice and stable. Again, we're driving down into the ground, just using those heels. So we should feel the hamstrings and the glutes working to support, as well as the core working to keep the hips nice and level there. We're going to keep the hips up. Unless you are resting, then you can bring those hips back down. And then finally, for part 1, we're just going to be doing a plank. Now, this can be done up high on the hands or down low on the elbows. Simple, just static plank. The core is tight. We're making a nice straight line between the shoulders and the heels here. And there's nothing more to it than that. All right, so those are the movements for part 1. Now, part 2, what we're going to do is we're going to be up on our feet, and this is where we're going to get into that squat variation. So we're going to be doing alternating between a narrow squat and a regular squat. So we're going to start in the middle, feet close together, toes pointed forward for that narrow squat, and then we're going to step out, regular squat, step back in, narrow squat. We can step out with the other leg, regular squat. And so we're just going to alternate between stepping those feet together and stepping those feet out wide in order to do that alternating squat pattern. Again, option to have something to load it up in front. I know that helps me balance out the movement a little bit better. All right, next up, we're going to be doing some plank and rotation. So we're back down to the ground. This time we want to be up on those hands. Core is nice and tight. We're going to rotate the entire body, look up at the ceiling, reach for the ceiling. Same thing, other side. You can let those hips open up. And we can also place those feet maybe a little bit wider than we normally would, just to create kind of a wider base and be more stable. But again, it's for the core and the shoulders. And then finally, you guys, we're going to be doing some crunches. So on our backs, I know it's hard to do when our feet are not being held down. However, trying to glue those feet into the ground We're not using any part of the upper body to compensate or pull ourselves up. We're just going to use the muscles between the rib cage and the pelvis here, pulling as much upper back off the ground as we can. It's okay if we take these slow. We want them to be really quality, just focusing on that tissue right on the stomach there. Okay, that is going to be our workout here today, guys. I'm going to go ahead and drop it in the chat. If you guys have any questions or at any time are just confused about what is coming next or the parameters or anything like that, go ahead and check out the chat. The workout is in the chat. Let's go ahead and get into our warm-up here. What we're going to do is start with a nice, simple air squat. Let's come into the middle of our space, screw those legs into the ground here. Arches are up. Toes can be pointed out a little bit. And we're just going to come down nice and slow. And then come on up, squeezing those glutes and using those quads as well. Let's do a few more. Good job, you guys. We can slowly speed the pace up a little bit if you were going slow. Let's do one more. There we go. Nicely done. Okay. Next, let's come to the bottom of our space. Make sure you have some room in front of you. We're going to do that dynamic runner stretch, or this version of the world's greatest stretch. Let's start by poking those hips out behind us. Gonna let the body hang here for a minute, trying to stretch out those hamstrings, those glutes, that spine. Now let's bend the knees, get the hands close to the ground here. We're gonna walk those hands out until we can find that nice high plank position. There we go. All right, big lunge with that left foot. That left foot is gonna land outside that left hand. From here, we're gonna keep that back leg straight and then twist, reach up towards the ceiling or sky with that left hand, looking past that thumb. Let's breathe, take a moment, open it up, and then we'll bring that left hand back down to the ground. We can return that left foot to meet the right. Same deal other side. So big lunge with that right foot. Then we let the right hand leave the ground, reaching up towards the ceiling or sky, looking past that thumb, trying to keep that back leg nice and straight. Big twist here, guys. All right, let's bring that right hand back down. We're gonna return that right foot to meet the left. And then let's push ourselves up into a quick downward dog, pushing the ground away, locking those arms overhead, pushing the head through the gap between the arms. And then we can slowly start to walk those hands back in towards the feet. Now, it's okay to bend the knees on the way back if you have to as well. Then we can just slowly roll ourselves up when it's time. Head, neck, and shoulders, last things to come up here. All right, you guys. So again, workout is in the chat. Check that out if you haven't already. Again, we're just gonna need a little bit of space and some water at minimum for this workout. 2-part workout. I'm gonna get the clock here set up. We're gonna be working for about 18 minutes. And at the end of part 1, you guys, we're just gonna have that last 15-second rest interval before we jump headfirst into part 2, working for 50 seconds and then resting for 10. All right, guys, starting off with those power push-ups. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, we're on the clock. Okay, so remember, nothing mechanically different. If we're going from the knees, that is awesome as well. Coming down and then really using a lot of chest, big squeeze to push that earth away almost violently, or at least a little bit quicker than how we're used to doing it. Nice strong exhales will help us put a little bit of oomph behind that power push. Good work here, you guys. Take little breaks if you need to. This one is definitely tiring, so break it up. All right, guys. It is time to rest. We're on our backs next with the bridge alternating leg extension. All right, guys, let's get ready. So core is going to be tight. Lots of glutes, lots of hamstrings here. All right, here we go. So we're driving through the heels. The hips come up. We're squeezing. And then when we're ready, we can kick one leg out, trying to maintain a nice even level here at the hips. It's just the heels making contact with the ground here. Don't get lazy around that core, you guys. I know it feels like a lot of hip work here, but still got to keep everything around the rib cage secure as well. Good job, you guys. Good job. A few more seconds left. Keep holding it. And time. All right, you guys. Next up is our plank. Almost done with round 1 of part 1. Remember, option here, you can be either all the way up on the hands or down on the elbows. We're gonna get started here in 3, 2, 1. All right. Find that good position. Make sure the shoulders are away from the ears as we support ourselves here. Good job, you guys. Good job. Nice straight line between those shoulders and those heels. We're over halfway through already. Don't forget to breathe in this position. 10 seconds. Come on. And time. There we go. All right. Good job, you guys. Round 1 of part 1 is done. We got the power push-ups coming up next. We're still working for 45 seconds. Remember, grabbing water, taking a break at any time is great. Let's get going with the power push-ups, though. Let's find that starting position. Good job, you guys. Lots of effort on this one, so don't be afraid to break it up how you need. Another opportunity for us to practice what kind of pacing works individually for us. How we can begin to kind of strategize, support ourselves during this workout. All right, you guys, last couple seconds, almost done. And time. Okay, bridge is up next. All right, you guys, almost time for the bridge. 3, 2, 1. Drive down through those heels so the glutes are squeezed. And as we begin to move those legs out, think about kind of one of those little level thingies that you use when you're building something. It tells you if it's level or not. Imagine you got one of those sitting right on top of the hips here. How well can we make that little bubble stay in the middle? How level can we keep those hips? Make sure everything is involved, all the way from rib cage all the way down to where the knees are at. Good job, you guys. Almost done. And time. All right. Plank up next. Second time we got to do it. Second to last time we got to do it. All right. Again, options, either elbows or hands. Either way, we're going in 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, make sure those shoulders are away from the ears. From here, we can just go to our happy place. Think about something pleasant. Maybe it's something we're looking forward to in the near future. Maybe it's lunch, maybe it's dinner. Good job, you guys. Only a few seconds left. Good work, everybody. Good work. Stay with me. And time. There we go. Whew, man, that is tiring. All right, you guys. Final round of part 1 here. We're going to do it one more time. The push-ups, the bridge, and the plank, starting here in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Good job, you guys. Good job. Really push that earth away. You're not pushing yourself up. You're just pushing the earth away. Oh man, that is tiring. Keep working, you guys. We got about 10 seconds left. It's okay to take little breaks, grab water if you need it. You want to stay especially hydrated on days like today where it is hot outside. All right, you guys, time to rest. Bridge, one more time. Let's get ready for it. All right, 3, 2, 1. Let's get those hips up. Driving through the heels. We're going to kick one leg at a time. And we're staying nice and level. Remember, guys, we're bracing. Bracing through that core. That's what's going to help keep us nice and supported. It's easy to get lost in the kicking the leg out one at a time. You guys make sure that pace is nice and slow so you can feel that weight being shifted from hip to hip. So that we start kicking out real fast, it's a recipe to not stay very level. So slow it down. Make it precise and time. Good job, you guys. Whew. All right, plank one more time. All right, guys, we're gonna get started with that one here in 3, 2, 1. Final set for our plank. This is also, after this is gonna be the last time we get to rest for 15 seconds in this workout. The rest of our rest intervals are going to be 10 seconds. Let's speed it up just a little bit. Good job, guys. Good job. Make it sustainable. This is not the last set of our workout. So if you're feeling like you're really struggling, give yourself a little break. We're hopping right back into it. Almost done. And time. All right, you guys. So let's stand all the way up. We got our narrow and goblet alternating squats coming up next here. We're going to get started here in 3, 2, 1. All right, narrow stance, toes forward. We're going to do a nice narrow squat. Step out to one side, regular squat, step back in, narrow squat. Now we step out to the other side, regular squat, come back, narrow squat, and we start over. Good job, you guys. Remember, with this narrow squat, we don't have to go as deep as we normally would. We still want to keep that spine straight. We still want to be using the core to support that upper body. Doesn't mean we have to dip all the way down if that means spine is bending as well. Keeping that nice and straight. We're getting there, you guys. We're almost done. Keep working and time. All right, you guys. Up next is our plank with rotation. So it's a nice high plank. We're starting here in 3, 2, 1. Find that good starting position. Then let's open up one shoulder support. We rotate, look up at the ceiling. Same deal, other side. We're trying to plant those hands right back in the same position. Take your time shifting that weight, you guys. Doesn't have to be the quickest. We also don't have to do every single rep consecutively. We're taking little breaks here and there. We got 20 seconds left, though. Let's keep going. Don't get lazy with that core, you guys. I know the focus is on how we're supporting through the upper body. Don't get lazy with that core. That's what's there to support our spine. All right, that is time, you guys. Let's lay it all the way down. We got crunches coming up next. Remember, feet are staying glued. We're starting in 3, 2, 1. Using just all those core muscles, nothing else. If that means you guys are resetting after every rep like I am in order to get a quality one, And that is what I want you to do. Give yourself a little reference point so you know which reps are quality. We're just gonna keep hammering out those for the next 20 seconds through the end of round one of part two here. 10 more seconds now. Good job, you guys. And time. All right, quick rest. We got to stand ourselves all the way up. We're back to doing our squats. And we are going in 3, 2, 1. All right, you guys, we're starting with that narrow again. Narrow, we step out to the side. Regular, step back in. Narrow, step to the other side. Regular. Whew. You guys get the point by now. Remember, keeping the core really tight. I know it may feel weird as we go down into that narrow squat, but in all instances, no matter what kind of squat we're going into, we're pushing the knees away from each other. We're using those quads and we're squeezing those glutes in order to come back up. Good job, you guys. All right, just looked at the clock. We got 10 seconds left. Plank with the rotation is coming up next. And that's time. There we go. Okay, great work, you guys. Let's find our area on the ground for those plank rotations. We're going in 3, 2, 1. Find the plank first. Make sure everything is good there. And we can rotate. We can reach up towards the ceiling or sky. We can also open up those hips, you guys. And remember, a slightly wider stance with those feet is going to create a larger base of support for us. We're kind of taking balance out of the equation a little bit, at least on the lower body scale. Just going from side to side, using those arms and those shoulders, pushing away from the ground. Excellent work. Keep the core tight. Don't get lazy on me. We got 10 seconds left. Might as well just blast through this set. Good. One more here. And time. Oh man, that was tiring. Okay, we got the crunches up next, you guys. Second to last time we got to do them. Remember, quality over everything else. Let's get it going. Remember, we're not throwing those arms forward so the rest of our body comes forward. It's just those muscles in between the pelvis and the rib cage that are going to shorten and bring us all the way up. We're just trying to peel as much upper back as we can up off the ground here. Just taking it one rep at a time. 20 seconds to go. Don't forget to breathe here, you guys. Almost done. Keep those feet glued best you can. They're not coming up off the ground. And that's time. All right, you guys. Last round. Let's stand it up. Let's get ready to move. It's those squats. Narrow and goblet. We're starting in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Narrow, remember, toes forward at all times. Let me come out into our wide one. That feels a little bit more regular. Either way, knees don't like each other. They're going away from each other. The core is tight. We're supporting that upper body, especially so if you're holding on to something like I am. Cannot allow that spine to bend. Good job. By now, we kind of figured out the rhythm to this a little bit. We got 10 seconds left. Let's make it look good. And time. There we go. Way to work through that last second, you guys. All right, it's plank with rotation coming up next. We're going to get started here in 3, 2, 1. All right. Last time we got to do this one. I know it is tough. Remember, open up those hips all the way too. Core is tight as we rotate. Using that shoulder to push away from the ground. Don't let the ground tell you what your shoulder is doing. Use your shoulder to tell the ground what it is doing. It probably made no sense, but we're still moving, we're still rotating. Take little breaks if we need to. Last round though. We got 10 seconds left. Let's keep pushing. Good job, y'all. And that's time. All right, last thing we got to do, last thing we're going to check off the list is 50 more seconds worth of these crunches. And by now we're tired, but it is time to go. All right. Good job, you guys. Push through, keep striving for those quality reps that we were doing in round one. Keeping those feet glued. Using just those muscles around the midsection to bring you up. Even if that's just a little bit, even if you're not coming up super high, pretend like we're crushing something under the low back as we come up. Good job, y'all, good job. About 15 seconds left. Here we go, guys, final few seconds. Got a time for at least one more. And that is time. Good work, everybody, good work. Okay, that is the end of part 2. We got a few minutes left here, you guys. Let's go ahead and get into some cool down. So take a moment. If you want to stand it all the way up, take a couple of deep breaths, grab water. Got a little hot and spicy there at the end. All right, because we were working those power push-ups in that upper body a little bit in part 2 and part 1, what we're gonna do is start with opening up that chest here in our cool down. Now this can be done either in kneeling or standing. I'm gonna stay in standing here today. We're gonna take those hands, interlace those fingers behind our back. Those hands are gonna get really heavy. So we're pulling our shoulder blades together, opening the chest up and then pushing those knuckles down into the ground. So once we open up our chest here, we're gonna start to breathe nice and deep, and let's fill up our stomachs and our chest with air. So as we inhale, it's going deep into the belly, and as we continue to pull in that air, it'll then be directed to the chest. And then as we exhale, that tension is gonna go away a little bit. If it's comfortable, we can begin to tilt our chins up. Look at the ceiling a little bit, only if it's comfortable. Let's do one more big breath here. And after that, we can slowly release those hands. All right, guys, we're back down to the ground for the last part of our cool down. What we're gonna do is stretch out that spine a little bit. So all the way down on our stomachs here, this is a prone position. We're all the way down. Our lower body is gonna stay pretty static. Hands are planted up around head level, maybe even a little bit higher. And what we're gonna do is push ourselves up into cobra pose, keeping the pelvis and the front of the pelvis connected to the ground. So if you have to adjust where those hands are at in order for that to happen, go ahead and do so. But once you find that comfortable top position, let's take a deep breath right into that stomach and all those core muscles we were just using. Feels good to lengthen those out. All right, slowly, let's let ourselves back down to the ground. We're gonna push up one more time. After this breath on the ground, let's push ourselves up. One more time, same position, pelvis still connected. One more big, deep breath into all that tissue in our midsection here. And after that exhale, we can slowly begin to let ourselves down. And once you get down there, just make sure everything came back down into place. Take a breath, make sure it all feels okay. And then you can pull yourself up and get up any which way that you prefer. That is all the time I have left for this workout here today, you guys. Thank you so much for coming and joining me. Now, if you're looking for more live opportunities today. We have Vinyasa Yoga with Janet. That is starting momentarily here at 12:30. A stretch break with Brittany. That is at 3 p.m. Zumba with Vardui at 4:30 p.m. And then finally, mat Pilates with Beth at 5 p.m. All of those are in Pacific Standard Time. And if you haven't already downloaded the Exosfit app, go ahead and do that. And if you have, go ahead and update it. We're looking forward to chatting with you guys soon. All right, I will see you guys in that next session. Take care, everyone. Thanks again for coming and working so hard. See ya.